right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A wind advisory is in place for us on Monday, and it's a weather alert day from 7 to 7. We'll talk about the highest wind gusts we're expecting and when the rain settles in as well.
A local university's balancing act puts a popular sport on the chopping block.
This is a sport that goes way beyond just Lindenwood.
Tonight, the impact on the local gymnastics community. Our top story, a tragic end in the search for a missing young man in the Metro East.
What's going on in people's mind that you would shoot a 19-year-old child?
Tonight, his grieving family calls for an end to the violence. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. The Major Case Squad now investigating the death of 19-year-old Daniel Nunn. The Washington Park man's body was found yesterday in a Cahokia Heights neighborhood off Camp Jackson Road. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski talked with his family tonight, who are left seeking answers.
Chris Hodges says on Monday, March 18th, his 19-year-old nephew, Daniel Nunn, left his house to visit his cousin down the street. And when he didn't come back, his grandmother FaceTimed him.
But when he answered in the car, well, she found out he was in the car when he answered. And he said, "I'll be right back, Granny." Never showed up.
Later, they reported him missing to the Washington Park Police Department and started looking for him, posting flyers and pictures on social media. One flyer said he was possibly last seen around St. Martin Drive.
When he didn't answer his phone, that's when the red flags really went up.
The family got a call they never wanted to receive. Police say Daniel had been found here near Melvin Drive, shot to death.
By getting that call, it was a 10% relief, but a 90% devastation of how he was found. We weren't expecting that. We was expecting the police to find him and say, "Oh, we got you, we got your son. We're gonna bring him home." That didn't happen.
His cousin Ashley says she's been there for Daniel ever since he was born and just can't fathom why someone would do this.
So I watched all of them grow up, and it's devastating because I have 3 sons myself, and they're all around the same age. So it's like you just can't imagine why somebody would take this young man's life like that.
On Saturday, the Cahokia Heights Police Department called in the Major Case Squad of Greater St. Louis to assist in the investigation. The family wants answers.
It might be somebody that knows something that's afraid, because I know it's devastating to walk down a street or an alley and see a dead body. I would be devastated, but say something.
Chris says Daniel loved to play sports and was currently studying to get his GED and go back to school. But now they're planning his funeral. And while they don't know what happened, they want the violence in their community to stop.
Guns are not the answer. Fighting is not the answer either.
Reporting in Washington Park, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
If you have any information, you can call the Cahokia Heights Police Department at 618-337-4277, or you can remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Just hours ago, the Major Case Squad announced a juvenile has been taken into custody in connection to the deadly shooting of a Pagedale teen. On Wednesday, police found 15-year-old Lawrence Clark shot to death in an alley off Bradford and Purdue Avenues. The juvenile is charged with second-degree murder, assault, and armed criminal action. Investigators did not release his age. The Weather First team has activated a weather alert day for tomorrow. Let's take a live look downtown, where we've had a blustery Sunday, and a wind advisory will go in effect in the morning. Meteorologist Gary Frank also tracking the timing of rain and storms to start the work week. Gary?
Yeah, good evening, Mike. Windy day today, gusts over 30. We can handle that. It didn't really cause too many issues other than just it was really breezy and we had a higher fire danger. Well, now we're going to see rain start to enter the frame, but it's a system that you can see the spin. I mean, look how impressively wide this system is with periods of rain behind it. We don't have any of this reaching the surface right now, but look how many counties and states are under a wind advisory as a result of this system. This is packing some serious wind, and that also includes us. We'll start that at 7 a.m., goes all the way through 7 p.m., and rain right now not reaching the surface. We've talked about the dry air that's in place, a lot of this evaporating, and we may see a few showers to start the day, but our wind speeds right now still gusting between 25 and close to 30 miles an hour in central Missouri, and that's going to continue overnight. If you're a light sleeper, you're probably going to hear the wind as we're still at 58 degrees. Pretty close to normal for our average high, and it's 10:04. So as a result, wind advisory tomorrow, up to 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So this is going to be pretty significant. Isolated tree damage and power outage, not so much because of the rain, but as that rain increases and the soil's moist and loose, we may see some of those trees move around a little bit easier, and we'll talk about how that's going to impact us tomorrow. Time out the heaviest rain for you as well.
Tonight, a South City neighborhood is coming together after someone torched a free little library. What's now just a pole started as a cabinet full of free books put up about 10 years ago by Brenda Morrison. The goal, to get more people to read. And just this week, the community effort was turned to ash. While Morrison says it wasn't a fancy cabinet, seeing it destroyed brought up a lot of emotions.
What's the logic behind burning down a free little library? I don't see one. And Bevo is a good community. We all help each other. A couple guys in the neighborhood helped me put my pole and my cabinet up. We're family here at Bevo.
Morrison put up a sign addressed to the arsonist saying the free little library will make a return. She says people have already flooded her with support, offering money, help, and more books. It's a tough time for local universities facing financial hardships. Earlier this month, Fonton University announced it will close its doors after 100 years, citing slumping enrollment. Over at Lindenwood University, several D1 sports programs are on the chopping block, including women's gymnastics, which held its final home meet this past weekend. New tonight, 5 on your side's Annie Krall has more on the impact on the local gymnastics community. Annie?
Lindenwood disbanded 10 sports and impacting about 284 students, especially with the Paris Olympics this summer. Saying goodbye to last year's national gymnastics champions wasn't easy for the Lindenwood community.
Now let's hear it for your Lindenwood Lions.
Saturday's MIC Championship in St. Charles, the last home meet for Lindenwood University's gymnastics team ever. The school announcing December 1st 9 Division I sports and cycling would be cut after their seasons. Lindenwood's vice president for intercollegiate athletics saying in the original announcement, unfortunately, it is critical for the long-term sustainability of the department. Lauren Cartmel, a member of Lindenwood's first gymnastics team, is disappointed the university couldn't stick the landing.
It was really cool to see the program start with building such a firm foundation and seeing that legacy being built continuously throughout the years and continuing to have the same heartbeat of we're one team, we're one body.
With less than 70 D1 women's gymnastics teams nationwide, according to USA Gymnastics, athletes tell us losing even one makes the sport more competitive to earn a spot. Universities like Auburn quickly showing solidarity by wearing ribbons with the school's colors of black and gold.
And there's also so many young club gymnasts that are coming to watch these programs. That was always my dream, was to go and compete for a university, and being in this arena, dreams became reality. And so knowing that's being cut for future generations, I think that is the part that saddens me.
Young gymnasts wanting Lindenwood to know
that you guys are
really good.
Yeah, and that I love your team bonding because
just watching them is
it's just really fun, especially because our team is also kind of like them. We're really close, all of us.
Competing here was Rayon Chapman's dream.
I'm very upset right now because I don't want them to be cut.
Now setting her collegiate sights elsewhere. Cartmel added there's likely to be more interest in the sport this summer because it's always such a highlight of the Olympics, making the end of the program even more devastating. This isn't the first major cut at Lindenwood, closing its Belleville campus back in 2020. We've reached out to the university directly for comment, but have yet to hear back. Mike?
Annie, thanks. A beloved Alton restaurant is preparing to close its doors this week. My Just Desserts in Alton has been a community staple since 1989. In 2018, the shop, known for its pies and its sandwiches, was taken over by Yvonne Campbell. 4 years later, she tragically died in a tour bus crash while on vacation in Jamaica. Her sister Evelyn took over last year, but says it's been difficult to keep up the restaurant while working her full-time job.
People still come in and they still talk about her, and just knowing that she had such an impact on people has made it the best for us to keep going. And it is very, very, very bitter to me, but bittersweet. I'm glad that we have been able to keep it going, but in the end, I have to think about what's best for me. And I'm glad that I've got the opportunity to keep her legacy going.
My Just Desserts will close on March 30th. Campbell says she has gotten several inquiries from potential buyers wanting to keep the doors open.
Overcoming adversity.
If I would give up on my situation,
I wouldn't be letting me down. I'd be letting all these people that believe in me.
He suffered a debilitating stroke. Now he's using his journey of recovery to inspire others.
Peak wind speeds today over 30 miles an hour in some cases, but believe it or not, it's even higher tomorrow. What we're expecting in terms of wind gusts tomorrow, and we'll track that rain chance for Monday as well.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Now to a story of the human spirit in action. In tonight's Making a Difference report, a local man's journey through adversity and how his determination has become an inspiration.
What's up, brother? Looking strong. Keep it up. You're killing it.
On the road to recovery, some refuse to be just passengers.
Ready for round two? Yes, sir. No stopping you.
And that's what drives Don Picarni every time he comes to the Stephen A. Orthwein Center.
Coach is here now.
Let me try again.
No slacking. That's all I'm saying.
The Orthwein Center is the modern and massive health and wellness gym from Paraquad, the disability services and support organization.
Paraquad's mission is to champion equity and independence for people with disabilities through services, partnerships, education, and advocacy.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
And if this gym had a popularity contest,
oh, buddy, don't worry about it. We don't stress the little stuff.
Don would be the undisputed champ.
We have talked about making Don the mayor of this building.
Picarni is a 61-year-old former Division I soccer player and youth counselor who suffered a stroke 4 years ago. He remembers waking up from a coma to hear people talking about him.
Those are my daughters. I hear, oh, sorry, girls. Your dad will probably never walk again, and we're going to start looking to assisted living. March it up.
But instead of surrendering to the storm, Don weathered it with unwavering resolve.
Okay, Coach. If I would give up on my situation, I wouldn't be letting me down. I'd be letting all these people that believe in me. There we go. Got to march it up.
Despite the lingering struggle with the loss of mobility on his left side,
ready, Coach. I'm walking.
Don's been determined to reclaim every ounce of independence he lost.
Nice job, Aaron.
Thank you.
Very good.
And that determination isn't just for himself.
Right on, Keith.
He seems to be a beacon of hope.
No stopping you, buddy.
For everyone around him.
Good job.
He is an absolute cheerleader.
Give me some, brother. No stopping him.
No matter what someone's doing, he'll just walk by them in the gym and to continue to uplift them and keep them going.
When I see somebody come in, the deer in the headlights, I call it. I said, okay, there's my guy or my girl. I got to help them because they need some help.
That attitude may be why his friends and family launched the Walk for Don group on Facebook.
Hi, Don. Love you.
It's a digital diary capturing his inspiring journey and the zest he brings to everyday life. If the name Picarni sounds familiar, that may be because Maddie, one of Don's 3 daughters, has made a name for herself as a professional soccer player. And now, thanks to Don's determination, he can cheer her on from the sidelines once again.
There's nothing better than seeing my kids play in college and now Maddie playing in Denmark and Louisville. It's like a thrill.
Guided by resilience.
Sure, absolutely, Coach.
He doesn't just navigate his own journey, but lights the way for others.
You're staying in the game. No stopping you.
It's reinforcing the positivity and giving you the motivation to keep going when you get frustrated.
Way to keep working.
Don Picarni.
Killing it today.
The mayor of motivation.
You're killing it, man. You're pushing some weights there, Mike.
Firmly believing that quitting is never an option.
Right on. I was going to say, you're not tapping out yet on me, are you?
For himself.
Coach is on fire today. Holy cow.
Or anyone else.
Good seeing you. Have a good weekend.
The Orthwein Center, by the way, has all kinds of adapted exercise equipment and over 300 gym members. A reminder, if you know an inspiring person or someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. A St. Louis mom is shedding new light on the big, bright designs associated with iconic fashion designer Lily Pulitzer. For the past 17 years, Becky Smith devoted her time to save the legacy of Susie Zuzek. Now, she's the textile designer behind many of Pulitzer's famous patterns. Smith's passion for Zuzek's designs inspired her to buy all her archived art and work with places like the Smithsonian Design Museum to catalog it all for future generations to enjoy.
Artists matter, and creative people matter. And that's what's different about this particular story. It wasn't just, a few designs she did or worked for 5 years or 7 years or a quarter of a century. So that's what makes this story really, really wonderful, and that we were able to save it. And even though they are 50 years old, okay, they're timeless.
And Smith says she's talking right now with some companies on possible collaborations that would bring more light to Zuzek's work. Well, as we mentioned earlier, rain and wind has triggered a weather alert day for tomorrow. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us once again with that weather first forecast.
Yeah, good evening. We can handle both rain and wind. Today was all right. It was gusting around 30 miles an hour, but when it goes close to 50, that's going to be the big story for us, I think. Looking outside right now, not all that bad. The wind has settled down in some spots, as you would expect it to do so overnight. Gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour were around us today. It's going to be higher than that tomorrow. We'll see that temperature still right at 58 degrees. We've got an east-southeast breeze at 14 miles an hour. Our normal high is 60, so just even at 10 o'clock, we're still just a couple degrees below that. Here's where rain is starting to settle in. I want to pay attention to how this is setting up. Watch how some of it falls apart as it gets close to central Missouri and, of course, close to us. But notice how it's almost like a fire hose from Wichita, and it goes to the north and then kind of fades. We're going to pay attention to that tomorrow. I think it's going to be something similar where you see a pretty steady band of rain really from southwest to northeast, at least at some point. And that's going to be the area that gets the heaviest rain. Right now, we see that light rain falling apart, and I still think a few showers are possible tonight, but we still have drier air that's in place. It's going to take a while to overcome that as we continue the southeast breeze. Tomorrow morning, you're already going to see gusts upwards of 35, 40 miles an hour at 5:30 in the morning. That trend continues until we see that front move through, but very windy conditions. So tonight, low to mid-50s, windy as well, but the wind advisory starts at 7 a.m. and carries through 7 p.m., and that's one of the reasons because of the significant wind. And you'll see that gusts upwards of 35, 40, maybe 45 miles an hour, pockets higher. There are always a few spots where, like St. Charles, the wind blows a little bit more, and that's where I think that it's possible that we'll see up to a 50-mile-an-hour wind gust. That obviously makes driving difficult, especially with a high-profile vehicle on some of these east and west interstates. But isolated tree damage, power outages, not out of the question. I don't think it's a widespread thing. But as rain increases later in the afternoon, the soil gets a little bit more moist and those trees start to give a little bit more than they had. So it's something to watch out for as we see that rain really steadily increase from 3 and 4 o'clock. Now, notice how that almost fire hose continues from south to north, but as the front pushes through, we eventually dry out and then the wind shifts and it gets cooler. So I think tomorrow we'll see better opportunities for rain in the early afternoon as we're in the low 60s. Now, behind that, clouds continue to move through, our temperatures fall, and that's where we're back in the low to mid-50s. I think for the most part, there are a few spots, like I mentioned, those heavier bands like Rolla, Herman, Troy, inch and a half, even to the south. But in the city, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, I think at maximum. Maybe we'll get more than that, but I think at this point, low 50s Tuesday, Wednesday, and then mid-70s before Easter Sunday brings us our next chance for rain.
We're on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy on Today in St. Louis. Drivers heading to and from the Metro East are in for some delays over the next several weekends. But the good news is your drive across the Poplar Street Bridge will soon be much smoother. The Illinois Department of Transportation started a big project this past weekend.
We will be repairing the pavement and resurfacing both directions, all of the mainline lanes through there. This work will take place on weekends between 9 p.m. on a Friday evening and will reopen by 5 a.m. Monday morning.
IDOT's sticking to work on the weekends to avoid major delays during the work week commute.
However, it still will be a very severe traffic impact as we will be closing directionally. There will be 6 weekend closures total, 3 in each direction. Example would be if we close the eastbound direction, the westbound direction would stay open, and vice versa.
And the eastbound lanes of the Martin Luther King Bridge also will be closed some of those weekends. So, sounds like this could cause some big headaches. Be sure to plan ahead for games and events. Stay safe on the road. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A 9-figure bond due tomorrow for former President Trump. Tonight, the debate over if he can come up with the cash. Former President Trump has just hours to post a nearly $500 million bond. It's part of the ruling of a New York judge who found the Trump Organization liable for business fraud. He must pay the bond to appeal the judgment. If he doesn't, some speculate the state will seize Trump-owned properties or bank accounts. Trump supporters call the penalty partisan politics, while others call it equal application of the law.
All people should be treated equally under the law, and if that seizure of assets would be pursued to any other American, then Donald Trump should be treated the same.
You've got this lady, clear partisan in New York, who's basically prosecuting the president over loans, something that's never been done to anybody before.
An appeals court could give the former president more time to get the bond in order or allow him to post a smaller one tomorrow. Tonight, Israel has reportedly agreed to release 700 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for 40 hostages being held by Hamas. The proposal was put forth by the U.S. Israeli officials say that the country is ready to make, quote, significant compromises to get those hostages home. Hamas has yet to respond to the offer.
Well, temperatures outside right now staying very mild, but we'll continue to focus on a wind advisory when that goes into effect and how high the winds gust tomorrow.
All right, before we go, let's check in with Gary one last time with more on our weather alert date tomorrow.
Yeah, wind advisory, the main story for us tomorrow, the fact that we have the potential for gusts upwards of 50 miles an hour at times. I do think that isolated tree damage and power outages is possible. It's not going to be a widespread thing, but it's always possible. The driving is going to be difficult in the morning, especially as rain increases, and we see that potential for some of the trees moving around a little bit easier.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m. And now here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.